In the heart of the ancient Persian Empire, where power cascaded through marble halls and whispers could topple kingdoms, a young Jewish woman named Esther stood at the precipice of destiny. Her world was a labyrinth of gilded chambers and silent tensions, where every breath could be her last, and every decision carried the weight of generations. The royal palace, with its intricate tapestries and cold stone floors, was both her sanctuary and her prison, a place of unprecedented privilege that simultaneously demanded an impossible silence. Esther's journey was not merely a personal narrative, but a profound testament to the human experience of confronting overwhelming fears while maintaining an unwavering faith. She understood intimately the paralyzing landscape of uncertainty, that treacherous terrain where potential and peril dance in a delicate, dangerous balance. Her internal struggle resonated with a universal truth. How does one find courage when everything seems stacked against survival? The Persian court was an ecosystem of intrigue, where survival depended on navigating complex political landscapes and maintaining a perfect balance between visibility and invisibility. As a young woman who had been thrust into royalty through circumstances beyond her control, Esther carried the complex identity of being both insider and outsider. Her Jewish heritage, a secret carefully guarded, represented both her deepest connection to her roots and her most significant vulnerability. Surrounding her was a world that valued performance over authenticity, where appearance meant everything and true identity could mean death. The royal court breathed with its own rhythm of power, unpredictable, ruthless, and indifferent to individual human stories. Yet within this seemingly impenetrable system, Esther carried something extraordinary, an inner resilience that transcended the immediate circumstances. Her nights were filled with a profound awareness, a consciousness that extended beyond her personal comfort into the collective fate of her people. The potential destruction of the Jewish community wasn't an abstract concept, but a tangible threat that pressed against her consciousness like a physical weight. Each moment was charged with potential transformation, each decision a potential pivot point between salvation and devastation. The tension between her personal safety and her collective responsibility created an internal landscape more complex than the elaborate Persian gardens. Fear whispered its seductive promises of self-preservation, while something deeper, a spiritual calling, perhaps, urged her toward a path of radical courage. She stood at a crossroads where individual survival intersected with a larger, more profound purpose. What emerged was not just a story of potential heroism, but a profound exploration of how ordinary individuals confront extraordinary challenges. Esther's narrative would become a testament to the power of faith, the complexity of human choice, and the unexpected ways divine providence manifests through seemingly powerless individuals. As the story unfolds, it invites those who listen to recognize their own hidden reservoirs of strength, those quiet, often overlooked moments where ordinary people are called to extraordinary acts of courage. Her journey would reveal that true power is not about position or privilege, but about the willingness to step into uncertainty with conviction and hope. The intricate tapestry of human vulnerability unfolded within the palace walls, revealing layers of emotional complexity that transcended royal protocol. Mordecai, Esther's guardian, understood the delicate psychological landscape she navigated, a world where survival demanded more than physical protection, but a profound spiritual resilience. Whispers traveled faster than royal messengers in the Persian court. Information became currency, and silence could be more dangerous than open confrontation. Mordecai's network of connections, carefully cultivated through years of diplomatic maneuvering, provided crucial intelligence about Haman's increasingly hostile plans against the Jewish people. Each piece of information was a potential lifeline, a fragment of hope in a rapidly darkening political landscape. The psychological toll of bearing such knowledge weighed heavily. Imagine carrying a devastating secret that could mean life or death for an entire community, knowing that one miscalculation could trigger catastrophic consequences. Esther's internal struggle transcended personal fear. It represented a profound moral crucible where individual courage would be tested against systemic oppression. Strategically, her position required unprecedented nuance. She couldn't simply react. she needed to calculate with surgical precision. Every gesture, every word spoken in the king's presence carried potential revolutionary implications. The art of diplomatic survival demanded she maintain an exterior of calm while internally processing complex emotional and strategic realities. Cultural dynamics added another intricate layer of complexity. As a Jewish woman in a Persian royal court, Esther existed in a perpetual state of negotiated identity. She understood intimately how marginalized individuals must constantly adapt, interpreting unspoken rules and navigating power structures that were fundamentally designed to exclude them. Her preparation wasn't just about external strategy. It represented a profound internal transformation. Each moment of reflection, each prayer, each careful consideration was an act of spiritual fortification. She was constructing an internal architecture of resilience, building emotional muscles capable of withstanding extraordinary pressures. The approaching confrontation wasn't merely a political maneuver, it was a profound spiritual testament. By choosing to act, Esther would demonstrate that authentic courage emerges not from the absence of fear, but from the willingness to move forward despite overwhelming uncertainty. Her narrative would become a powerful archetype of transformative faith, showing how individual agency can challenge seemingly insurmountable systemic challenges. Within this crucible of potential transformation, something remarkable was taking shape, a moment where personal vulnerability would become collective strength, where individual risk would potentially rewrite a nation's destiny. The rhythm of royal protocol pulsed through the palace's intricate corridors, creating an environment where silence spoke volumes and discretion was an art form. Within this delicate ecosystem, Esther understood that survival demanded more than physical endurance. It required profound psychological resilience. Each interaction became a carefully choreographed dance of diplomacy. Navigating the treacherous emotional terrain of the Persian court required an almost supernatural ability to read unspoken tensions. Subtle shifts in courtiers' gazes, the microscopic changes in breathing patterns during tense conversations, the barely perceptible tension in shoulders. These became Esther's primary language of survival. Mordecai's mentorship had prepared her for precisely this moment. He had taught her that true strength wasn't about confrontation, but about strategic patience. Like a master chess player, she learned to see multiple moves ahead, understanding that her positioning was infinitely more critical than any single dramatic gesture. The threat against her people wasn't just an external challenge. It represented a profound spiritual test. Could she transform her personal vulnerability into collective resilience? Every moment demanded she reconcile her individual safety with her community's survival, walking a razor's edge between self-preservation and sacrificial courage. Psychological warfare permeated the royal environment. Power dynamics shifted like desert sands, with alliances forming and dissolving in breathless moments. Esther recognized that her survival depended on understanding the unwritten rules, those invisible boundaries that determined who would rise and who would be crushed beneath the machinery of imperial politics. Her internal landscape became a strategic command center. Each contemplative moment was a calculated assessment, each prayer a reconnaissance mission into the spiritual realm. She was constructing an emotional armor that went beyond physical protection, a resilience that drew strength from something far more profound than royal privilege. Remarkably, her youth became both her greatest vulnerability and her most unexpected weapon. Where experienced courtiers might hesitate, she possessed an adaptability that defied traditional expectations. Her generation's courage burned with a different intensity, less calculated, more intuitively aligned with transformative potential. Crucially, Esther understood that her journey transcended personal narrative. She was carrying the collective hopes of a marginalized community, transforming individual risk into a potential collective breakthrough. Every calculated step became a bridge between personal agency and communal destiny. The approaching confrontation would demand everything from her, not just strategic brilliance, but a revolutionary reimagining of what courage could look like in a system designed to silence and suppress. She was preparing to write a new chapter in resistance, one defined not by violent rebellion, but by dignified, strategic intervention. Her preparation was holistic, physical, emotional, and spiritual. She wasn't just planning a political maneuver. She was cultivating an inner landscape capable of withstanding extraordinary pressures, transforming potential defeat into an unexpected victory. The moment of truth arrived with a silence more profound than any spoken word. Esther's preparation transformed from internal reflection to external action, a metamorphosis that demanded every ounce of her carefully cultivated spiritual and emotional resilience. Royal protocol dictated absolute precision. One misstep could mean instantaneous death. Intricate cultural dynamics surrounded her approach to the king's inner chambers. Persian legal strictures were unforgiving. Unauthorized entry into the monarch's private space represented a capital offense. Yet something deeper than legal consequence drove her forward, a commitment that transcended personal survival, a calling that resonated beyond individual fear. Psychological warfare manifested in microscopic details. Her breathing became controlled, almost imperceptible. Each muscle remained deliberately relaxed while internal tensions coiled like compressed springs. Years of court training crystallized in this singular moment, understanding that true power wasn't about dramatic gestures, but calculated restraint. Spiritual preparation had transformed her internal landscape. Prayer wasn't merely a ritual, but a strategic fortification, building invisible emotional infrastructure capable of withstanding extraordinary pressures. She carried within her an ancestral resilience, generations of marginalized people who had survived through intelligent adaptation and unwavering faith. Her approach challenged systemic expectations. Young women in royal courts were typically seen as decorative accessories, not strategic agents of transformation. By stepping forward, Esther rewrote unwritten rules, demonstrating that true influence emerges from courageous vulnerability rather than positional authority. Remarkable psychological shifts occurred simultaneously. Fear didn't disappear, but was transmuted into focused determination. Potential rejection transformed into an opportunity for collective redemption. Her individual risk became a potential breakthrough for an entire community facing potential annihilation. Diplomatic nuance demanded extraordinary emotional intelligence. Reading unspoken tensions became as critical as verbal communication. Microscopic shifts in courtiers' gazes, subtle breathing pattern changes, barely perceptible muscular tensions. These became her primary language of survival and strategic intervention. Cultural intersectionality played a profound role. As a marginalized woman navigating a complex imperial system, she understood that survival required more than physical endurance. Her strategy represented a revolutionary reimagining of power, not through confrontation, but through dignified, strategically patient intervention. Crucially, her youth became an unexpected strategic asset. Where experienced courtiers might hesitate, she possessed an adaptability that defied traditional expectations. Her generation's courage burned with a different intensity, less calculated, more intuitively aligned with transformative potential. Each calculated step bridged individual agency with communal destiny. She wasn't just risking personal safety, but carrying collective hopes of a community facing potential erasure. Her approach represented a nuanced form of resistance, defined not by violent rebellion, but by intelligent, spiritually anchored strategic action. The weight of unspoken expectations pressed against Esther's consciousness like an invisible membrane, threatening to suffocate her resolve. Cultural trauma passed through generations whispered warnings of silence. Survival had always meant concealment, adaptation, strategic invisibility. Yet in this moment, invisibility would mean certain destruction. Psychological survival mechanisms developed over centuries of persecution now collided with an unprecedented opportunity for transformative action. Her Jewish heritage, long hidden beneath carefully constructed royal personas, now demanded radical visibility. The generational survival strategy of blending, of becoming indistinguishable, would now be challenged by a singular act of courageous revelation. Profound cultural memory surged through her veins, stories of ancestors who had survived impossible circumstances through intelligence, resilience, and an almost supernatural ability to navigate hostile environments. These ancestral echoes weren't mere historical narratives, but living psychological strategies embedded in her genetic memory. Each breath connected her to a lineage of survivors who had transformed potential annihilation into unexpected triumph. Diplomatic intelligence required more than strategic thinking. It demanded a holistic understanding of power's intricate psychological landscapes. Esther understood that true influence emerged not from positional authority, but from the capacity to read unspoken tensions, to navigate complex emotional terrains with surgical precision. Her approach would transform traditional power dynamics, revealing how marginalized individuals could reshape systemic narratives through intelligent, spiritually anchored intervention. Intergenerational wisdom manifested through her calculated vulnerability. Where traditional resistance might demand aggressive confrontation, her strategy represented a nuanced revolution, a method of challenging oppressive systems by revealing humanity within seemingly impenetrable structures. She wasn't merely fighting against a threat, but revealing a profound alternative to systemic violence: strategic, dignified, spiritually rooted resilience. The psychological architecture of resistance took shape through her careful preparation. Each moment of reflection became a form of spiritual fortification, building emotional muscles capable of withstanding extraordinary pressures. Her approach challenged fundamental assumptions about power, demonstrating that true transformative potential emerges from the intersection of profound inner strength and strategic external action. Remarkably, her generation's courage burned with a different intensity compared to previous survival strategies. Where older generations might have emphasized complete concealment, she represented a revolutionary approach, visible, strategic, and unapologetically connected to her authentic identity. Her actions would become a blueprint for reimagining resistance in contexts of systemic oppression. The approaching confrontation represented more than a personal risk. It was a collective reimagining of survival. Esther's individual journey would become a powerful narrative of hope, showing how marginalized communities could transform potential erasure into unexpected liberation through intelligent, spiritually anchored strategic intervention. Within the intricate tapestry of royal politics, Esther's internal landscape underwent a profound metamorphosis. Her psychological armor wasn't constructed through external defenses, but through an intricate weaving of spiritual resilience and strategic introspection. The court's complex power dynamics demanded more than mere survival. They required a nuanced dance of emotional intelligence that transformed vulnerability into an unexpected form of strength. Navigating this treacherous emotional terrain required something far more sophisticated than traditional diplomatic skills. Esther discovered that true influence emerged from a delicate balance of authentic presence and carefully calibrated restraint. Her approach wasn't about manipulation, but about creating resonant connections that transcended the typical power structures of imperial governance. Psychological survival became an art form of unprecedented complexity. Each interaction represented a multi-layered conversation, not just between individuals, but between entire cultural narratives. She learned to read the subtle energetic currents that flowed beneath formal interactions, understanding that real communication happened in the unspoken spaces between words and gestures. Remarkably, her approach challenged fundamental assumptions about power and vulnerability. Where traditional strategies demanded emotional concealment, Esther developed a revolutionary method of engagement. She transformed her perceived weakness into an unexpected source of strategic strength, revealing how authentic presence could be more powerful than elaborate defensive mechanisms. Cultural wisdom passed through generations had taught survival through adaptation, but Esther intuited a more profound strategy. Her generation's approach didn't merely seek to survive, but to fundamentally reimagine the potential of marginalized voices. Each calculated moment became an opportunity to rewrite systemic narratives, demonstrating that true transformation emerges from intelligent, spiritually grounded intervention. Intergenerational trauma often creates protective shells that can become psychological prisons. Esther's breakthrough came from recognizing that healing required stepping beyond generational patterns of fear and concealment. She understood that authentic courage wasn't about eliminating fear, but about moving forward despite its persistent presence. The court's complex ecosystem demanded extraordinary emotional fluency. Survival required more than strategic thinking. It necessitated a profound understanding of human complexity. Esther developed an almost intuitive capacity to navigate emotional landscapes, reading the unspoken tensions that coursed through royal corridors with remarkable precision. Her approach represented a radical reimagining of personal agency. Where previous generations might have seen limited options, she perceived unlimited potential for transformation. Each challenge became an opportunity to demonstrate how individual resilience could challenge seemingly immovable systemic constraints. Ultimately, Esther's journey revealed a profound truth. True power emerges not from positional authority, but from the capacity to remain authentically connected to one's deepest values while navigating complex external pressures. Her strategy transformed traditional understanding of influence, showing how vulnerable authenticity could become an unexpectedly powerful form of strategic intervention. In the profound silence between heartbeats, where human vulnerability meets divine orchestration, something transformative emerges, a narrative far beyond individual circumstances. The intricate tapestry of human experience reveals itself not through grand gestures, but through nuanced moments of profound spiritual alignment. What initially appears as a personal journey gradually unfolds as a universal testament to resilience, revealing how individual courage can become a conduit for collective transformation. Consider the delicate architectural blueprint of human potential. Each life represents an interconnected system where internal landscapes shape external realities. Esther's journey illuminates this complex mechanism, demonstrating how deeply personal struggles can transcend individual boundaries, becoming catalysts for systemic change. Her story isn't merely about survival, but about the remarkable human capacity to transform seemingly insurmountable challenges into pathways of unexpected liberation. The sophisticated dance between personal agency and collective destiny becomes increasingly apparent, revealing how individual choices ripple through generational narratives. Spiritual resilience isn't constructed through external defenses, but cultivated through an intricate weaving of intentional vulnerability and strategic introspection. Each moment of authentic engagement becomes a revolutionary act, challenging established power dynamics and reimagining potential futures. Reflecting on this profound journey, we recognize that true transformation emerges not from positions of power, but from the courageous willingness to stand authentically within one's deepest convictions. The most revolutionary actions often appear subtle, quiet moments of integrity that fundamentally shift systemic narratives. Esther's approach represents a nuanced form of resistance, not through aggressive confrontation, but through intelligent, spiritually anchored strategic intervention. The human spirit contains extraordinary reservoirs of untapped potential, waiting to be activated through moments of decisive courage. Each individual carries within themselves a unique confluence of ancestral wisdom, personal experience, and spiritual insight. When these elements align, when personal vulnerability meets intentional action, remarkable metamorphoses become possible. The boundaries between individual and collective experience blur, revealing our fundamental interconnectedness. As we stand at this narrative crossroads, something profound becomes clear. Our most significant battles are rarely fought with external weapons, but within the intricate landscapes of our own consciousness. The real revolution happens in those quiet moments of internal recalibration, where fear encounters faith and possibility emerges from seemingly impossible circumstances. Our stories are never truly isolated. They are intricate threads in a much larger, more complex tapestry of human experience. In the delicate intersection between human vulnerability and divine orchestration, Esther's journey transcends a singular narrative, becoming a profound metaphor for collective transformation. Her story whispers an eternal truth. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the profound decision to move forward despite overwhelming uncertainty. Each life contains revolutionary potential, not through grandiose actions, but through quiet, intentional moments of authentic alignment with deeper spiritual convictions. Our human experience is rarely about dramatic external victories, but about the intricate internal landscapes we navigate. Transformation happens in those almost imperceptible moments when we choose hope over paralysis, when vulnerability becomes our unexpected strength. Esther demonstrated that true power emerges not from positional authority, but from the courageous willingness to stand authentically within one's deepest values, even when systemic forces seem insurmountable. The most profound revolutions are often silent, occurring within individual hearts before manifesting in collective experiences. Her narrative reveals how marginalized voices can reshape entire cultural narratives through intelligent, spiritually anchored strategic intervention. It's a reminder that our personal stories are never truly isolated. They are intricate threads woven into a much larger, more complex tapestry of human experience. What emerges is a universal invitation to recognize the extraordinary potential residing within seemingly ordinary moments of decision. Courage isn't about eliminating fear, but about moving forward with intentional grace, understanding that our individual choices can become catalysts for unexpected collective liberation. Each person carries within themselves a unique confluence of ancestral wisdom, personal experience, and spiritual insight, waiting to be activated through moments of decisive authenticity. The boundaries between personal struggle and collective transformation blur, revealing our fundamental interconnectedness. Esther's journey suggests that when we align our deepest convictions with strategic action, we become conduits for something far greater than individual survival. We become architects of hope, reshaping narratives of limitation into landscapes of unprecedented possibility. In the end, this story whispers a profound invitation to step courageously into the unknown, trusting that our authentic vulnerability can become our most powerful form of resistance. It challenges us to see beyond immediate circumstances, recognizing that true revolution happens in those quiet moments of internal recalibration, where fear encounters faith and possibility emerges from what once seemed impossible. Our most significant battles are rarely fought with external weapons, but within the intricate landscapes of our own consciousness. Every individual carries a revolutionary potential, waiting to be awakened through moments of intentional, spiritually grounded engagement. The question isn't whether we can make a difference, but whether we are willing to show up authentically, courageously, in service of something larger than ourselves.